Hey guys, welcome back to the Cartoon Network Tier List Part 2. We did some of the good shows, now bad, good, and neutral shows. Now we're moving on to Part 2. So, Robot Boy, I would say is, what is this? I've never heard about that before. Robo Tommy. Robot Boy, Robo Tommy. Those are like the shows that sort of become of robots. Samurai Jack. What is this? So, next up is Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. I gotta say this, but it's really the best show ever. Do you know why? Because Scooby-Doo and the gang are looking for mysteries. And speaking in which, who knows if they have to solve many mysteries as they can before it runs out. And yeah, next up is Secret Mountain Fort Awesome. What? This show is definitely on the bads list. Do you know why? It's really the same ripoff to The Problem Solvers. Because this show is really disgusting as hell. Like, what the hell, dude? Alright, next up is Secret Saturdays. What is this? Sheep Big City. Skunk Fu, which I've never heard about Skunk Fu. Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom is what I've never heard. Like, I have never watched Sonic Boom before, which I wouldn't remember about that show. Next up is Stitch Ghost. Squirrel Boy. Star Wars The Clone Wars is definitely the great show ever. Do you know why? Because 20th Century Fox made its own Star Wars movies, but they also made Clone Wars. But Lucasfilm sued Fox for nothing to do anything wrong, but George Lucas and Jim Henson made an idea. They just made Disney. Because Disney owns Star Wars. Now and then, goodbye Fox. Sorry about that. Someone was just knocking at the door, which seems weird because they have to explain something. So, yeah. Etc., etc. Next up we have here is Star Wars The Clone Wars, the series. Well, it's definitely the animated series, so I gotta say for this is what is this pile? And Static Shock, which was actually a superhero, which means I have to put it into what is this? Steven Universe. Well, especially it's about a show about galaxies who comes to life. And yeah, but I have never watched, and I really don't remember, because in the later shows that they've aired, it's like not too popular in high commands. But yeah. Next up we've got is, I don't know what this crappy show is, but I'm just gonna leave it be. Summer Camp Island. Well, this show is actually like, not about animes, but a little bit different. A little bit different. Sunday Pants. Sunday Pants. I have never knew about that. SWAT Cats. Never heard about that before. Bon Titan. Next up we have is Teen Titans Go, which, I guess this show is a little bit good. Do you know why? Because, let me give you a hint. The Teen Titans itself is good. But, let me give you a little bit of quick comparisons between these two shows. The one on the left seems a little bit animated, but the one on the right seems like it's more animated. Because that one's from the 90s or 2000s to the 2010s. Because one of the series might be a little bit different from the one on the left and the one on the right. So, yeah, it does pretty makes sense as what I've mentioned so far. Next up is Thundercats, which I've never heard about that before. Taken Seek, never heard about that. Tame Squad, or more like Time Squad. I've never heard about that before, but I've never watched that before. I've never know about that. Total Drama Island. I don't even watch that. Ridiculous Race, which means it's a little bit mediocre because nothing has to do with race battles on islands before. Total Drama, the reboot. Like, depending on what it is, it's like really absurd. And also, blech, Totally Spies. This show's really bad. Because it's about these anime girls who likes to be react in certain type of ways. Like, what the heck? What the heck are they doing? Enough of that. So, yeah. Moving on right now. Transformers. Well, I don't remember if I'm watching it, but I've watched some Transformers movies, but not quite yet. Next up is Uncle Grandpa. Like, I can't remember that show that well. I can't remember his impression voice. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, that type of voice right here. He sounded like my Grampy George, but a little bit different than that. He wears a propelled hat, and these insects and the pizza was actually like talking a little bit too much. And I guess they go on crazy adventures and stuff like that. So yeah, Unikitty. I would say it's What Is This? Vector Valentine. It was not bad at all. Villainous. We Bare Bears. We Bare Bears, I would probably think it was probably good. You know why? The Three Amigos liked to go on cool adventures in good friendship type of ways. And stuff like that. None other than cool, but some bears like to go on cool adventures and giving and stuff like that. What a Cartoon! Never heard about that in a while. Robot Jones. What's New Scooby-Doo? I would think it's definitely a little bit of good. Do you know why? The series itself made its own new mysteries. And that's how Warner Brothers and Cartoon Network they might have cheered up to go on like new type of missions to solve each mystery. Next up we have here is Ixidlim. Never heard about that. Young Justice. Never heard about that. Blah! Annoying Orange. Annoying Orange is always a little bit mediocre. Do you know why it was mediocre? Orange was actually like funny. He goes like, ah! Like in a funny laugh like SpongeBob has in mind, but he looks kind of weird and he's really funny at the other fruits and vegetables, but nothing else the same as matters. Hero 108, I would say it's What Is This? Batman is like a little bit of like, Like, what is this? Is that really the animated series Batman? Like, I don't really know about that. Fun and Trades with Fair. Never heard about that before. The Superman animated series. Never heard about that before. Elliot from Earth. Never minded as well. We Baby Bears. Like, it's really a ripoff. Well, let me give you an example here. Thunder Rain's Superman, Elliot from Earth, and We Baby Bears are like really a ripoffs to like other animated ones. Jellystone. We've got 3 more of those exciting ones before it ends right now. Next up is Jellystone. Jellystone, I would think it was a little bit of good, as I misclicked it. So it's like Yogi Bear, but not too different as well. Do you know why? Because he's really such a bear. And its own committee is just always, not too cool as well. As well as other Yogi Bear shows and movies, it's like not that bad at all. I give retrospect on Hanna-Barbera for that. So, who gives a heck? Who gives really a heck? Anyways, move on. Fungies and Steven Universe. Well, again, I don't know what these shows are about, but trust me, I didn't even know these ones would not be faking or not. But I see these shows, and some of the exciting animated series will never ever be the same as Religions. So, yeah. Well, that gives an ending on the tier list. So, this is Colin Dykeman saying, signing you out, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the year before 2023 starts. So, over and out, folks.